So you won 10.8 million in a night once. You've lost 3.6 million on 3 different occasions. How about the most you've ever won or lost?
I think it was like 12.8, but it was over a period of 3 games. We just kind of
won or lost?
I won.
Okay.
Yeah, like I played and then we just left the money on the table, and we played again and left the money on the table, and yeah, it was a pretty crazy one. I'll never forget it because I was sitting there and I was sitting with like over 18 million because I had bought in for some money, and I was up to 12, but I had other money that I'd bought in, and I think I'd actually lost initially, so then I rebought, and I just remember distinctly having $18 million in front of me, and we're playing no limit hold'em, and we're playing heads up, and the blinds were $10,000, $25,000. So it's a real big game. And at any given point, this guy, and he's a maniac, he's a billionaire. So at any point, if this guy says all in, I got to make a decision for $18 million. So that to me was like probably one of the most stressful periods of time. I think like I had like a little bit of hair fall out. I was just like,
and like legitimately though,
yeah.
You've had hair fall out before when you
I noticed it like through like periods of like extreme stress, like I'd like take a shower and like run. I mean, I got tons of hair, so I didn't notice it, but like I would run my hand through my hair and like actually hair fell out. But like I said, that one session, because like one of the things that he would do sometimes when he would bluff is, there'd be, whatever, $2 million, $5 million in the pot, or, whatever was in the pot, or maybe it was even $1 million or something. This guy, one of his MOs was if there was, I don't know, $500,000 in the pot, or, maybe $1 million or whatever, like he would just go all in on the river sometimes for just like $7-8 million. Like that was like his thing. Because he always had me covered. So his thing was like, he didn't even rebuy chips. He just, whatever I had, he had. So he just, he basically bought in for $100 million or whatever it was. You know what I mean? Like he just always had me covered. So no matter what amount of money I had, if he said all in, I have to make a decision for all of it.
Right.
So, it was just like a, kind of a crazy time.
After a night like that, what are you thinking?
I don't know. It's kind of hard to say, because I remember one time I lost at 3.6 and I wasn't that upset. And then there's been other times when I've lost like 50,000 that I've been like just super pissed.
And it depends on how much you swing during the game and then your competition, right?
That's a big piece of it. Also like the stakes that you're playing, like, what if I'm playing like a small game and I just like lose throughout the whole night? Like that would like really piss me off. Or if I'm playing a game where, and this has happened before, where basically all the money that I've lost is pretty much all the money on the table, so I'd have to bust like every person to get even. So that's kind of a frustrating feeling.
What are you thinking about that makes it stressful for you?
Well, you try not to, right? I mean, like you try not to think like, oh, I just lost a mansion in Bel Air, you know what I mean, or whatever. I just, oh, he just beat me for a Bugatti or a LaFerrari. You try not to think about it in terms of like real money. Like I could have bought a plane, or oh, I lost this, so there
was a guy you played with though that would only bet in planes and cars, right?
Well, actually, it was the same guy, that crazy billionaire. So it was just one time, and it was like my girlfriend was there and his girlfriend was there. And I don't know why he did it. Maybe it was just to f with me or whatever it was, but he just decided that for an hour he wasn't going to look at his cards, and he's just, he's betting without looking at his cards. At the end, he'd look at his cards. So, you can't read somebody that doesn't know what the f they have. But yeah, then he decided that he wanted to start betting in like physical things, like, a Mercedes or a Ferrari or whatever. And
I mean, is it like fun, or are you thinking like this guy's an idiot just trying to show off for his girlfriend, or like what are you?
No, I mean, well, no, it legitimately worked. It kind of messed me up a little bit because like, normally it's just chips, and that's kind of like the genius that the casino came up with, is like they make these little plastic chips. It's worth $100,000. And one thing I noticed, because back in the day when you played poker, especially at Bellagio or Aria or wherever it was, you could literally have bricks of cash in front of you. So people would have hundreds of $1,000s in bricks. And, I just remember like, a guy chucking a brick of 100 grand into the pot, and be like, I bet 100 grand. And like, you'd look at this cash and like, fuck, you know, like that's a lot of money.
Right.
But then there's a chip that's this big, that's $100,000, you know, and they throw it in, and it just didn't have that same effect. Yeah, it was just like, I mean, I think he was just messing around. He didn't care about the money, but it was just one of those things that, you know, I remember at the time distinctly, like mentally kind of like taking me off my game a little bit.
How do you find out about the high stakes games?
So that was kind of my thing about poker, right? Is like, I never want to be the best poker player. I just wanted to play against like super rich guys that weren't very good. So a lot of these guys coming up, they wanted to be, you know, known as the best player. I didn't like ever really care about being known as the best player. Like for me, I didn't mind people thinking that I was like a rich trust fund kid, and that helped me get into really good games.